What's good, YouTube? It's your boy King Ray Kage, and I'm here with the boy.
Seven man, young seven man, the youngest of the seven men, the greatest there's ever been.
And in today's video, we just happened to be on a Sunday evening and we
Mm-hmm.
were casually watching wrestling. And it's a really good
Mm-hmm.
time to be a wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, AEW and all that joint. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
today's Extreme Rules.
Ooh.
Ooh, mixture of emotions in this show, especially for my boy Jeff Hardy. But hey, that's later on in the video, is that not?
My favorite part of Extreme Rules is when there was only one Extreme Rules match. That was my favorite part. So
Yeah,
much
you know
fun.
what? You know what? You're right. You're definitely right. It
Yeah.
kind of didn't disappoint like that, but we'll get to that later. Guys, let's just get the elephant out of the room. Kickoff show was Carmella versus Eva Marie. Wow. Carmella versus Liv Morgan, with Liv Morgan getting the W. Thank
Mhm.
goodness. Even though Carmella, I love her. She's fine as hell. But hey, okay. So that was the pre-show. It was I know you probably didn't watch it, right?
Liv had a really cool, like, ensemble, and I feel like I could pull it off myself. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I've been working on my legs a little bit. I might be able to pull that off too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, okay. Then I guess you did watch it, right? You watched the pre-show? Okay, cool. Just a little bit, he went to the restroom, came back, et cetera, et cetera. It was a okay match. We're not gonna get really in depth into it because we have a lot to cover.
There's quite a bit.
We're gonna start off with a surprise six-man tag team match between the
Mm-hmm.
New Day and Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles and Omos. And this match was not, it wasn't announced at the beginning. It was just thrown upon us. And
Mm-hmm.
for better or worse, it was a good match. I enjoyed it heavily. And you can kind of tell the story that Bobby Lashley literally was with MVP versus AJ Styles and Omos a couple weeks ago to see who would face the Raw Tag Team Champions for the championships.
Mm-hmm.
And they beat them. So the story makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense that they would, cross their own path. I like the
Mm-hmm.
ending of the match specifically because, he just tags himself in and then,
Mm-hmm.
gets literally wrecked. And
Mm-hmm.
thankfully, Bobby Lashley, smartly tags back in, but still gets fucked up. So more power to him.
Big E needs a new finishing move. I have trouble, like, really believing that that weak ass little big ending takes out Bobby Lashley. I'm sitting here like, that's it. He needs a new finisher. That shit's not convincing to me. It's just like, oh, I picked you up, but I put you down. Oh, I'm like, oh, all
That
right,
that's
buddy.
that's the that's the one. That's the one. You
Mm,
gotta, but when he did
mm.
it from a ladder in Money in the Bank, that was dope.
Now, see, that's dope.
That's dope.
That's dope because it's off a ladder,
Maybe if he did it from the top rope, we wouldn't be complaining.
See, he should
Hey
switch it up like that.
yo,
Go to the
hey
top rope
yo.
with it and drop. That's the
Or
one
even a
package.
mid rope, because top rope, he'd have
Yeah.
to be balanced. He could just fall. But even in the mid rope, it would look
Yeah.
devastating.
Yeah.
Just seeing his body crash down to the floor like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. But I mean, I enjoyed the match overall. I give it a 4 out of 5. I was really heavily invested, and god damn, the crowd was fucking wild.
They were. They
The
were. Great,
crowd
great
was
crowd.
It was a great crowd in Columbus,
Great crowd.
wherever, whatever state that is. No, I'm just fine. Just fine.
Fuck
Yeah.
Ohio. There we go. There we go. There we
There,
go. How
that,
about
that,
that?
yeah.
How
Uh,
about that?
FLBJ. Hey,
Fuck
nah.
Braun.
Oh, okay. That's a different topic. Okay.
Mm.
4 out of 5 for me. What do you give it out of 5?
Out of five, I'll give it a 2.5.
2.5? You didn't like it?
It's just not interesting to me. It's a fucking tag match. Like,
No, yeah, but I mean the actual wrestling in it was good.
I
Come
guess.
on, man.
I
When
guess.
Xavier Woods was tagged in, he was fucking everybody up. I was like, this is not realistic, but it's fun.
I guess.
But it's fun. It was good. It was good.
All right.
All right, yeah. So next match on the card, I believe was the women's championship match. between Bianca. Between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, or I'm skipping a
Was that the
match.
next? No. It was the Usos
Oh, it
and
was Usos and
yeah.
Street Profits. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that was a
Thanks.
good match.
That
That's a
was a
good tag match.
that was a good match. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a 5 out of 5 for me. I enjoyed it
Absolutely.
heavily.
Absolutely. 5 out of 5.
Um, was I was kind of happy that they went with, because uh uh Angelo Dawkins wasn't on Friday,
Oh,
and he was actually attending a wedding. So Montez
okay.
Ford called the Usos the bitches of the bloodline. And
Oh.
Roman Reigns heard that. He told Paul Heyman, "What did he just say?" And Paul Heyman was like, "He called the Usos the bitches of the bloodline." And Roman's like, "I want a match with him tonight."
Whoa.
And then they proceed to have a match on Friday, and Roman just beats his ass. 1, 2, 3, and then after the match, they drive him through a table, break his ribs, and rah. That's why he had all the all the
Okay.
tape and stuff on him. And the
Okay.
fact that they continued with with that story of
Mm-hmm.
his ribs, favoring his ribs and stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like at some points he forgot that he was hurting,
Mm-hmm.
especially when he was coming back. He was just jumping around and stuff. But in the most important moments, he was like, "Oh, right, my spine broke." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when they hit me in the back, I thought my back broke, but it was actually my
Mm-hmm.
ribs. So I favored my ribs, not my back.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't broken.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So don't fix it. So
Mm-hmm.
with all the generalities and the and the facts out of the way, it was a
Mm-hmm.
fucking great match. 5 out of 5 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
I think at some point we have to have a conversation of, are the Usos the best tag team ever?
I would say yes.
Like at some
I would
point we have to acknowledge they're really fucking good.
I would say they're up there. They're up there with Matt and Jeff, and they're up there with Edge and Christian and the
Yeah.
Dudleys, and they're
Yeah.
up there. They're
Yeah.
really, really good. And this isn't a knock on them or anything like that, but I would say they were up there when they won their third tag team championships. And
Yeah.
they're at what, 7 right now?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Mm.
This reign has solidified them as a tag team,
Yep.
top tier. And I feel like the rivalry between Jay and Roman actually helped the credibility of the Usos in the
I
long
agree.
run.
I agree.
And the fact that they're in a faction with him makes the championships more important.
Mm-hmm.
Let's all be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Before Randy and Riddle won the championships on Raw, the Usos championships were the prestigious tag team championships, because you have
Yep.
either them or the AJ Styles and Omos before them, or
Yep.
the women's tag team champions, which at the time was Natalia and Tamina,
Mm-hmm.
which now it's Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH. But that's
Okay.
another story. They won it on Raw. Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
all right. All right. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, just giving him updates while we go, because I know he doesn't watch the actual shows. But yeah, that's what happened, sadly.
Okay.
Yeah. And then on Monday, I don't know if you saw, but we had a New Day versus the Bloodline.
Oh, how was
And
that?
then after the match, like before the match ended, Bobby Lashley proceeded to destroy both teams.
Whoa.
And at the end, Roman pins Xavier Woods, celebrates, turns around, and gets speared by Bobby Lashley.
Wow.
And later that night, we have a main event of Big E versus Roman Reigns versus Bobby Lashley. And
How
it
was
was
that?
fucking good.
Oh,
It was
okay.
good. It was great. It was good. Anyway, that's just a small recap for him.
Cool.
So yeah, I feel like the Usos are up there, honestly. And more
agree.
credit and props to them. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then was the Charlotte Alexa Bliss match.
I think so. Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Trash.
Why do you say that?
Because so I'm sitting there the whole time. like I don't watch Raw or SmackDown. So like when I see a lot of these like super, super gimmicky characters, like this is like this is the whole package for me. Like you do all that shit leading up to a pay-per-view and you get over to the pay-per-view and it's like, here's the payoff or here's the major plot point. So I'm sitting here like, okay, here's this new Alexa Bliss and she actually has a real fucking match. And it's like the first time I'm really getting to see this character. She gets her ass whipped for 5 minutes straight. Charlotte fucks her up, rips a doll in half. And I'm just like, okay, not really sure why we just did that. Cause it's like if she doesn't beat Charlotte and they just made this big deal of Charlotte just fucked everyone on the roster up, I guess the draft gives her new competition because you just beat Alexa. So it's like, who's next? And as I'm contemplating that in my mind, I'm watching Alexa Bliss mourn the loss of a doll. And I'm like, okay, maybe she's going to go like Super Saiyan or like Ultra Instinct or something like that. But no, she just started to choke on a peppermint and foam at the mouth. And then she cried some more on the floor. And that was the end of the segment. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like, what the fuck was that? What just happened? That shit's ass to me. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But I'm sure you'll explain it to me right now. And I'll say, oh, that's what's happening. So please do that because right now I think it is absolute ass.
Okay, so the story with them so far is Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair had a match.
Okay.
And the match ended with Shayna Baszler getting involved.
Okay.
And then after that, Shayna Baszler and Charlotte started fighting like the next week by themselves. Then Nia Jax got involved. And then the week after that, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler had a match, which, you know, turned out Shayna Baszler won. Now let's go back 1 week. As soon as Shayna lost to Charlotte,
okay,
Alexa Bliss comes out, right? And she challenges her for the match and stuff like that. So now we proceed to the same week that Nia Jax and Shayna are having a match.
Okay.
In that same week, they have a Alexa Bliss Playhouse type shit, and they proceed to talk shit to each other. And Charlotte says that on the pay-per-view she's gonna expose her. That Charlotte doesn't want this Alexa Bliss. She wants the Alexa Bliss that was actually competition. That she wants the Alexa Bliss that was actually a goddess. That she wants the other Alexa Bliss. She doesn't want the happy playing hey doll because it's retarded.
Okay.
Now they have a match. She wins. Now we see what happens with Alexa after. That's all I can say. Because we don't know if Alexa's just going to go back to being goddess Alexa, or we don't know if she's going to get like this extra push or something like that. So that's the story on that.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so stupid. That didn't make it any better, bro. That just made it worse.
I don't know, bro.
Wow, that's really bad. Okay, well, what did you think of it, buddy?
I give the match a 3 out of 5. The wrestling itself was good enough to overshadow the actual story. I
You think so?
Yeah, I enjoy the Andrade throwback when she does a flip and misses and then just does another flip on top of it. That was an Andrade, esque type move. RIP to him since he's in AEW. I did like the wrestling in the match. I mean, we can see it differently just because I see wrestling is different than you would see. I define wrestling as something that you don't define wrestling. So for me, my version of the wrestling was pretty good. So I give it a 3 out of 5, where the wrestling was good enough to overshadow the actual not so lackluster,
You can say
story.
that. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can say that. Vince isn't listening. It's okay. It's bad.
Yeah.
All right,
So
all right.
Yeah, so I guess you're gonna give it a 0 out of 5 because it makes no sense to you.
I mean, I'll give it like a 2 out of 5 because I thought the wrestling was bad and I thought the storyline was bad. I really like Charlotte though. Like I love Charlotte. I used to find her a little bit obnoxious, but I'm just loving how like she's just so fucking talented. Like it's just impossible to hate her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hate her
Oh
guts.
well, all right.
And I despise everything about. No, I'm just, I'm just
Oh
playing. I'm
whoa.
just playing. I'm just playing.
Whoa.
I'm just playing, guys.
All right.
I mean, I don't mind Charlotte. You know who's better?
Mm.
People that we'll talk about later.
Okay.
Next
Okay.
match on the card, we got
Yes.
a triple threat match
Oh yeah.
between Damian Priest,
Mm-hmm.
the Celtic War Sheamus. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I should
Mm-hmm.
never, should never do anything bad or say anything bad about the Celtic War.
Nope.
And Jeff Hardy.
There's fucking
And
an addict.
and charismatic enigma.
Charismatic enigma. Jeff
And
Hardy.
let me just say, this crowd loved Jeff Hardy to the point that they were booing Damian Priest, another good guy, and they were cheering for Jeff Hardy. Now the match was great. I feel like when Sheamus bro kicked Damian Priest and then Jeff pushed him out and tried, and it was a near fall, and then all the ending. I don't like that it was a surprise roll up. I feel like if Damian should have just done his finisher and just won like that, it would have been better. It would have been more credible. But the roll up kind of feels for me like, hey, you kind of slipped and counted to 3, and we need another match. That's what it screams to me. But I loved the Swanton bomb on top of both of them. And I loved the reversals, twists of fates, and all that. I feel like this match should be an eye opener to WWE to not only use Jeff Hardy, but to actually give him a singles championship. Now, let me be frank. Right now, you have Big E feuding with Bobby Lashley. And technically, this triple threat match ends the rivalry between all 3 of them. But since it was a roll up, it's kind of questionable. Now, a couple weeks ago, Damian Priest had a altercation with Drew McIntyre. So we don't know if it's going to be Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest next, or if they're actually going to give Jeff a singles, chance against Damian. 5 out of 5 for me. A low 5 out of 5 just because of the roll up.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn, yes, sir.
Okay. So
please don't like scream in my ear. I mean, like go ahead and do your little rant thing about Jeff. I commend you. Like my people watching at home, this guy is a diehard Jeff Hardy fan, and he's a diehard when he boos practically anybody on the roster besides Jeff Hardy. So that's just a disclaimer. Thank you.
Let me start off by just saying that Asuka is the greatest female professional wrestler of all time.
She was on the card.
Shinsuke Nakamura should have been on the card. But we've gotten all that stuff out the way. Let's just talk about Jeff, because it's finally time to talk about Jeff. I think this is the first time that we have been doing these reviews that Jeff actually had a match on a pay-per-view. And I'm so excited that we get to talk about him. And it's actually, he was on the fucking show, and I'm not just bitching and moaning about it. Did you see that crowd? I know the crowd was very active the whole night, but did you hear that fucking crowd? We are going to stop acting like Jeff Hardy is not as popular as Edge. We're going to stop acting like this motherfucker is not on the level of all these old ass legends and shit that come back and get championship and not mid card. These niggas go straight to the top. This motherfucker is as popular as Rey Mysterio. He's as over as Goldberg. That's Jeff fucking Hardy. We all knew that nigga wasn't going to win the match. They only put him in there because we wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. But even when it's clear he's not going to win the match, the world is behind this man. Everything that nigga does, the world is behind it. I knew he wasn't going to win the match because he came out in the all black joint. If he came out in the fishnets, oh, he was getting a fucking title. But he came out in the all black zip up shit. I said, oh, he ain't winning shit tonight. He just here to do some flips. I already knew. I already knew. And you knew too. You know what happens when he gets out there with the zip ups. He ain't doing shit. He ain't doing the shit. But even with that, those near falls were beautiful. Oh my God. It was just lovely.
My heart broke every time they kicked out.
Me too. I literally felt 12 years old again, like screaming at a TV, knowing that this is a fucking script, but I'm sitting there like, come on, Jeff, you get I had to check myself a couple times. I am a grown-ass man fucking over here. Just come on, Jeff. Right. Just let everyone just take a note. Just take a note and how to fucking sell. When you've got Montez Ford or whatever his fucking name is or whatever, when you do the cool thing where you jump out the ring and you fall on the ground and all the inverted versions of the suicide dive and all that stuff, you gotta sell it. When you do the cool move, you have to be hurt too. Like, that's what makes that shit cool. And Jeff does that with every bump. Even if he's the one doing the move, he's on the floor too. They gets it to that's what makes that shit cool. If you do a cool top rope spot and then you just pop up again, it's like, oh, he did the move. No, you gotta sell this shit. That's part of sell. That's why I love Jeff, because even when he's getting his ass whipped, it's like, look at this nigga right here. I mean, it's just beautiful. Now, what I will say, I don't give a fuck about the outcome because, I don't give a shit about them other two dudes. I'm only talking about Jeff here. What I thought would have been so fucking cool, I knew they weren't going to do it. Again, I could tell by the zip up. He was just there to do flips and make me happy. But, bro, that motherfucker would have turned heel on Damien. I swear to God, the fucking roof would have exploded. Right?
Yo, I was thinking that. So, bro. Look, this is me. After the match, and I saw them both standing, I was like, oh, they're probably just gonna have a face-off, shake hands, and like go about their way. But then when I saw the crowd, literally, I for some reason I heard screaming whispers of turn heel on this motherfucker.
They had the perfect chance.
The perfect chance to turn him heel. Now, if this is a heel turn that's pending, if this heel turn ends up giving him a championship match, a championship, more power to him. But again, even if he turns heel, it's just gonna be like Roman Reigns. He's a bad guy that gets cheered.
Yes. But ignore that for a second. Just ignore that for a second. What it looks like they're doing is the same shit they always do with Jeff. They have him get so close to the brass ring, then he finally gets whatever championship he gets, and everyone goes, oh, Jeff is so cool, blah, blah, blah. But they could have did something different, and they could have corrected what TNA did. This time, this nigga's not on crack. They could have actually did this shit properly. He could have turned on Damien, right? Weaseled his way somehow into the main event scene, assuming he doesn't get drafted over to SmackDown. He goes up against Big E at some point, right? I'm not saying he wins, but you got a heel, you got an over-the-top babyface. Even if they are cheering Jeff, which they more than likely would. That is just so fucking interesting than super Daniel Bryan babyface Jeff Hardy against all, like I'm here for it. Don't get me wrong. I'll take it. It just would have been so much more interesting if we did it differently. They're clearly not going to do it, but that would have been so much more interesting than just Jeff gets close, then finally does it again. Because it's like, you already did that. Like, he's a Hall of Famer. Like, he's done that before. So I don't know why they're doing it again, but I'll take it. I just thought they were going to turn him heel, and I was going to just start streaking outside naked.
Okay,
Like,
before this turns into a Jeff Hardy video, which we could do later
we
on.
could.
We could. What did you think about the match, sir?
The match was all right.
It was all right. It was cool.
It was cool.
Okay, so we can go to the next match, or you want to?
I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 because of how many times Damian was fucking up. When he tripped off the side of the ring, I was like, "Oh, this man fucking up." When he fucked up the whisper in the twist of fate, I said, "Oh, this man fucking up Jeff Hardy time."
And you know, Pat McAfee. This is another conversation. You know who he is, right? This commentator or NFL player or whatever, he's the greatest commentator I've ever heard in my life.
He's funny.
Because not only is he funny, but he catches shit and he runs with it. You heard him. You saw Damian Priest botch a twist of fate. This man said, "Oh, look at Jeff Hardy going for a dragon sleeper."
Oh, I cried.
I was like, what, bro? I gotta say, bro. I gotta say, this man's he's been studying, dog. I was like, I would have never thought that a botch would be turned into a dragon sleeper, dog. I was like, oh my god.
When he made that bare ass cheek joke on Finn Balor, I literally choked on my food. I've never laughed so hard in my life. Because I was already looking, I was like, damn, his whole ass is out. And then he said what I was thinking. I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. When Roman literally wedged the shit out of him and threw him through the table. Bro, you know what? Let's talk about that later. Okay. I'm getting excited. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So Pat McAfee's awesome, guys.
Yes, he is.
Fucking amazing. Next match on the card. WWE Women's Championship match between Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch in a match that took forever.
Yes, it did.
But delivered through that forever.
Yes, it did.
And it was fucking good. It was amazing.
I like it.
And the crowd was into it. We thought we were gonna get a roll up, and we got Sasha fucking Banks.
I thought it was gonna be Bayley. I gotta be honest with you.
I thought so too.
Because like how long is she out for again? Is it like half a year?
A couple months. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we got Sasha. Now let's all go into story behind it. Sasha Banks couldn't make SummerSlam for some apparent reason. They never explained that to us. But I'm not too sure. They never said it. They never said anything about it. But what I would say is she wasn't there. And WWE was like, fuck, our pants are down. Bring back Becky Lynch. Then Becky Lynch proceeded to beat Bianca in 26 seconds. And then their next rematch, Sasha Banks just comes back and fucks both of them up.
Yep.
Like when she started beating up Becky Lynch, I was like beyond. And then Bianca goes from behind her, gets slapped, and then backstab her on both of them.
I think that was a real slap too.
Yeah, it sounded like a real slap too. But guys, side note, Sasha Banks always looks good. She's always looking good. I'm not gonna lie. She's always looking good. She's always healthy. Now, if this was a story that could turn into not only a triple threat match, but a actual one-on-one match later in the line between Bianca and, because we didn't see it. We didn't see that match happen. You know, so I mean, yeah, we saw it in, we saw it WrestleMania, but besides that, we didn't see it again when we were supposed to.
Yep.
Now, when it happens, I'm gonna be all in for it. And by God, it was a 5 out of 5 match. It was great. And it's your turn for your side.
I was a little disappointed in the match. I thought they were going to go a little bit harder than that. but it's like their first like real match, so maybe they just don't have the chemistry yet.
And it's Becky Lynch's first match in a while too.
That's probably why, because I was like, where's the cool shit? But that's a good point. She hasn't wrestled in forever, so maybe that's why it was a little sluggish. But introducing Sasha is just great. I mean, the possibilities are fucking endless. I mean,
Yeah, you could do different things. And then Sasha said, "We'll see you on Friday." I was like, "Is it Friday the draft?" There is no way WWE can ruin this and draft one of them to a different show. Like, guys, we need this triple threat match today. Actually, today.
They could. Okay. Who knows? Mm-hmm.
Next match on the card. Our main event of the evening between Demon Finn Balor,
Captain Blackface,
and Brock. Whoa. I mean, Roman Reigns. And I texted you a picture a couple of days ago, and I showed you a picture that WWE posted that Roman Reigns was going to defend his championship against Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel. So we did know that Finn was not going to win.
Yep.
But the way that they did it, guys, I feel like the Demon is kind of ruined, but at the same time, it's not. I loved the match.
How is it not?
Huh?
How is he not ruined?
Okay, so the rope broke, right?
It did.
But there was never an explanation on why, right?
Okay.
So if we run with it and we can actually make a story saying something happened to the rope, or who could it be, or this conspiracy theory, was it Paul Heyman? Was it Brock? Or was it whoever, right? If we can get a story like that, it won't hurt his credibility like that. But I feel like the match was good enough to show us that, because Finn Balor, Demon, was undefeated in the main roster. I say in the main roster because he did get his ass beat by Samoa Joe in NXT, and I'm not going to ignore it. He's not undefeated. He got fucked up. He only had one match, SummerSlam versus Seth Rollins, and he fucked him up and fucked himself up and had to relinquish the Universal Championship. So I loved the match. I loved Pat McAfee throughout the whole. Roman Reigns done threw Finn Balor outside and decided to tell Paul Heyman, "Give me a mask." And Pat McAfee said, Roman Reigns told Paul Heyman to give him a mask because he doesn't want to breathe the same air all these scumbags in Columbus. I was like, I'm dead.
While that is hilarious, let me ask.
Yes.
Was there a literal medical reason why he put on the mask, or was it just for because you saw as soon as he got back out from the crowd, he took it off. Is he not vaccinated or something? Or
I don't know, but I remember he did have leukemia, so it might be just, he probably was uncomfortable with it,
Okay.
WWE probably told him that he had to do a spot, he didn't mind, like having people touch him outside, but actually being like in the center of everybody could have been different. So, I mean, not only was it funny and hilarious, but
it was fun.
I feel like he deserves to, have that option if it was up to him to have a mask on. More power to him. But yeah, it was a good match for me. I went insane when Finn Balor just started shaking on the floor, and then he resurrected. And I thought for a slim second that they were going to give him the championship, and they didn't. So the match itself was 4 out of 5 for me. It did everything it had to do as a main event. The outcome was the same outcome we were kind of expecting, but still striving for the other, because, just like you said with Jeff Hardy, you saw it on paper. On paper, you knew he wasn't going to win, but the atmosphere and the people kind of made you believe it was a possibility. So for me, it was a 4 out of 5.
My issue is the finish. I'm not super invested in it for the exact same reasons that you said or whatever, because we know he's going to fight Brock. So it's like, we knew he wasn't going to win. And I'm not really a Finn Balor fan, but I really don't like the blackface thing. I don't see how that's possible in 2021. But it's the finish I didn't get. knowing that he's been beaten before with that gimmick thing is good to know, I guess. But it's like he fell from the top rope that buckled. And I'm sure there's a story that's going to come out from it, but he fell from the top turnbuckle, then got speared and lost. But he's the demon that sells things. And it wasn't like it was a super spear. It was just like a normal spear. And I'm like, okay, so was it like a magical rope he fell from? I'm having trouble like finding at what point did he like become susceptible to normal human harm again? Was it because the lights went out and it's like, oh, he's normal Finn again? Like I was just like, so spear, he's done. I knew he was gonna lose. I was just like thinking it would be like such a devastating blow. Like when Seth Rollins literally killed Bray Wyatt in Hell in a Cell, it was stupid, but it made sense. He's literally dead. You hit that man in the face with a sledgehammer on the ground. He's dead. He's not getting back up. He fell off the magical rope to get normal speared. 1, 2, 3. And such a good match too. And it was such a good match.
It was a good match, yes.
To end like that.
And Columbus wanted tables all night,
Yeah.
actually. They wanted tables all night, and they got like 4 tables in that match.
Yep.
And I love the fact that Roman was like just slid the table back and he said, "No tables." He's such a good heel. I appreciate the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns for what he's doing. Doing a great job in giving prestige to the Universal Championship. 391 days as Universal Champion.
He deserves it.
Is wild. And if everything goes well, he won't face Brock until next month. So he's gonna be champion for like 440 something days. Now, if he beats Brock,
which he should,
he's gonna beat CM Punk's record for WWE champion, right? Like because Punk had a 450 reign, and it was with Paul Heyman.
Wow, they're gonna erase him completely. That's kind of funny.
They might. I mean, I don't know. I know that the longest reigning WWE champion was Bruno Sammartino in like 19 something. He held the championship for like 7 years or something like that. Some crazy number like that. I think it was like 1,400 days. Some weird, some crazy stuff like that. But yeah, that's never gonna get touched. So modern day, the longest reigning champion is CM Punk.
Didn't John Cena hold it for like 2 years?
No, he won it and lost it to the same person. So it was him going back and forth with Randy, and then him going back and forth with Triple H.
Okay.
But I think the longest he held the championship was like 248, I think, like something like that. But yeah, I appreciate what Roman Reigns is doing with the Universal Championship, because before he had it, even like this is including when he first had it, himself and the other people who've had it did such a poor job, except Brock Lesnar, and he wasn't even there. You know, Brock, a title Brock has is always a prestige title because he's Brock fucking Lesnar. I'm sorry, Brock Lesnar. But he's doing such an amazing job with the Universal Championship. I do feel like it should have been a different way for us to excuse the fact, or not even do it. Like, why bring the demon out if he was just gonna lose? Might as well would have done normal Finn again, and saved Finn Balor demon for a eventual streak. You could have had a streak with the demon and stuff like that. Or maybe out of this, Finn Balor's demon gets stronger with experience or something like that. Just tell us a story where we can believe that, hey, that was the right move. Don't tell us a story where he loses just to go to AEW, and that's the only reason why he did it.
Well, it was a
Because his
magical
contract
rope,
expires,
so, you know.
his
Oh, does
contract
it?
is expiring. Yeah, I
Oh,
think.
that's lame.
Yeah, so if he loses, that's probably what it is.
Oh well.
So, with that
Bye.
being said, a overall show, I would say gets an 8 out of 10 for me. It was a solid show. I enjoyed it heavily. Spots, and I would say it would get a 7, but because Jeff Hardy was in the card, I'm gonna give it an 8. The reason why Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't in the card was because he had a championship match against Paulo Cruz. He defended it against him on Friday, and he destroyed him. No, just fine. He
Good.
won by roll up. Anyway, yeah, and then Asuka, she nowhere to be found, and WWE has nothing for her at the moment. So they will soon, pretty soon, wish her futures and endeavors, and she'll probably go to AEW too.
I thought she was hurt.
She is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So with that being said, you need to say anything before we split?
I'm actually gonna give the show a 9 out of 10. There's a lot of stuff I don't like, but I mean that's the point of consuming media. So it's like I'm not gonna hold it against them. I think they've been doing a very good job. The last couple of pay-per-views I've thoroughly enjoyed, and it's been a while since there's been consecutive shows where I've been enjoying it. If I wasn't so busy, I would watch Raw and SmackDown. It's just like with basketball and shit. Like I can't keep up with two sports.
I mean, yeah, but you can't really blame them because AEW is just having like great matches. Like we had a Kenny Omega versus Daniel Bryan the other day that went on for like 30 minutes and ended up in a tie.
I'm asking you because I didn't watch. Are the matches good because they're good, or is it good because it's a bunch of really big names and first time ever matches? Because Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson on paper is a dream match, but it's like, is the match actually good, or is it just, oh wow, Daniel Bryan's here?
The match is actually pretty good.
Okay.
It's really good, actually.
Okay.
The matches are really good in AEW, and it's really hard. Even the Punk matches have been really good.
Really?
Like he hasn't really lost a step, and I think it's more because he's letting the younger talent shine. And it's not like Edge, spear, get beat up a little bit, spear. It's more like let the young guy do his moves, then you do the moves you're normally known for. And if you do a submission, for example, and you expand it by a minute or two, that's a minute or two less in the match, and the match can go up to 15, 20 minutes, and you're actually having a good match because you're working on something. Like the other day, let's say he's working on his arm. He's focusing on the arm throughout the match. It's just like WWE, but it's not like he goes from the arm to the leg and then no, he just focuses on the arm, So it's really good wrestling over there, and yeah, appreciate what they're doing too, because in the long run, them having good shows gives WWE more pressure to give us more better shows. So shout out to everybody. Great things to being a wrestling fan.
Well, the only way I'd watch.
Yep.
If Jeff goes over there, I'll watch. I watch where he's at. That's
Matt's there though. He doesn't count. It's kind of the same. Oh wow, damn.
If he's not broken, I'm not watching that shit.
He's
Hell
broken.
no.
He's broken.
Is he?
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. They call me the king. I appreciate you guys for stopping by in today's video. It's probably a long video anyway. But yeah. Catch you guys tomorrow on Raw's review. I hope you guys are enjoying my series and stuff. Catch you guys next time. Thanks, Sever, for being here.